Happy New Year to all of you. It's that time of the year, the last week, when we look back on what happened this year and also wonder how this time just sped by. We were celebrating the coming of 2021 and hoping that a nasty 2020 with all its virus related issues will give way to a newer year. And suddenly, you know what? It's another year gone by. So this time, I want to look back like the rest of us do and talk about some tech predictions that I made earlier this year and want to see as to how much of those predictions or how right or how more importantly how wrong I was. And so we're going to look at seven tech predictions that I made earlier this year. I think it was sometime in the second week of January. And and what I did was to look into what is sometimes called a Palantir. Now, forged by the elves of Valinor, the Palantir is one of the seven indestructible crystal balls, which is used to see events in other parts of the world, whether past or future. Now, J.R.R. Tolkien created these Palantirs in The Lord of the Rings for people who have read that amazing book. And then Peter Thiel and team created a Palantir in the modern world, a company called Palantir, using data and algorithms to know everything that could be known and to investigate what the future might bring. In the beginning of this year, as I said, I peered into a Palantir of my own and wrote down my seven predictions in technology for this pandemic-ridden year. And now, as we realize it has spread past, I thought it worthwhile to see how I rate my own clairvoyance. So my first prediction was predictably about vaccines. I said that vaccines and their rollout will continue to be the biggest story of 2021. While Elon Musk and his shenanigans gave it close competition, new vaccines, their rollout, their selfish hoarding, and their promise continues to dominate the headlines. I had also said that the focus on mRNA will go beyond just the COVID vaccine as a promising technique to attack some of our most dangerous diseases, notably cancer. I had also prophesied, looking into that crystal ball, that Dr. Tureki and Dr. Sahin, the celebrated wife husband pair who created the BioNTech Pfizer vaccine, will win the Nobel Prize, and was quite disappointed to be proved wrong. So on this, I scored myself 3 out of 10. I then grandiosely went on to say that the Third World War will not be fought between nations, but between big tech and national regulators, with governments regulating and prosecuting tech firms, and the latter lashing back. While a lot of action has happened on this, the Chinese tech squeeze, the Facebook whistleblowers, various large and small fines, war has not yet broken out. These are skirmishes at best, and so my score, maybe 4 out of 10. My next one declared that Bitcoin or crypto will become mainstream, with big banks and even some retailers adopting it as a legitimate trading and transactional currency. I also bravely said that Bitcoin will surge past $50,000. It was $30,000 then. And then immediately hedged myself that if not, it will drop below $5,000. Well, Bitcoin crossed $60,000. It is, I think, about $48,500 as I speak now. It's definitely more mainstream, with even some risk averse countries like India climbing down from their banned crypto positions. A bigger story, however, is probably the NFT and the DeFi boom, which I did not foresee, and so 6 out of 10. My fourth prediction said that work from anywhere will become mainstream, going beyond mere work from home. We will work out of home, offices, and anywhere else we can be. Many large organizations, notably the large banks, bravely asked everyone to come to office, but then chickened out in the face of Delta and now Omicron. Well, offices are still largely empty. Work still goes on unimpeded from everywhere. And I get 7 out of 10 here. Linked to the above was my fifth forecast that the great decentralization, as I called it, will go beyond work in retail with e commerce and omni channel, hospitality, more Airbnbs than mammoth hotels, education, hybrid, college, home, and healthcare, hospitals, and telemedicine. Too early to call it one way or the other, but the signs are there. We prefer to do our first consultations on video before we go to a crowded hospital, for example. Airbnb is doing very well, and hotels are struggling. Education continues to be hybrid and sadly fosters a digital divide. But my score, a hopeful and tentative 6 out of 10. The sixth prediction carried along with this theme, saying that the lockdown would have irrevocably altered consumer behavior and their journeys across sectors. Companies, I said, will need to quickly adjust to these new customer experience and journeys. And digital technologies and expertise will be in great demand to make their business models as digital as possible. This is mostly true, with traditional companies bringing AI and digital transformation to the top of their agenda. And tech service providers and product companies have never been busier, more profitable, or more desperate for people. So, a triumphant 9 out of 10 here. In my final prediction, I moved to, well, dangerous territory and said that we will see the third Great Wall of China coming up to separate the global internet from the Chinese internet. The first Great Wall was the physical one. The second Great Wall was when China kept out a lot of sites from websites, etc., from themselves. But the third one, I thought, will be built by the US and its allies to prevent China from becoming an AI and tech superpower. And therefore, the tech world would get cleaved into two. I could not have been more right and more wrong here. China is constructing this wall and isolating itself faster than the West can build it. Note the crackdown on Didi and Alibaba, Tencent, others. Big tech in China is delisting from Western stock exchanges. Its founders are cowed down. The wall is coming up, except that it's being built from the inside. And so my score is a rather weird 9 out of 10. Well, if I total it up, 44 out of 70 is not bad in this highly volatile world of technology. And so there is some truth in the Palantirs. Now, Tolkien wrote that these balls were unreliable, these crystal balls, since it was often unclear if the events shown were the present or the past. More importantly, there was a risk that the users with sufficient power could choose what to show and what to conceal. And I suspect that this is true in our tech world also. So these were my predictions. I would love to know what you thought, and if you were to score yourself, what would you get out of 70? So if you watch this video, do comment on it as to what your score was. And every week or so, I put on a new video on tech and future of tech. So please do follow my YouTube channel so that you're never out of touch with this massive revolution happening all around us. Wish you again a happy new year.